So today we're going to be talking about non-negotiables, specifically building your own non-negotiables list. So let's begin with what the heck is a non-negotiable? I think that this is something so much bigger than simply coming up with some cute habits or some fun new routines that you want to attain in your life. Your non-negotiables are the things that you are unwilling to waver on. Non-negotiables are the actions that you can see, feel, and touch in your life, in the most important areas of your life, that you are not going to make excuses around. You are unwilling to defer on them. They are the things that are absolutely non-negotiable, call it what it is, in your life. Now, this kind of was born for me as I started to really recommit to my health journey a couple of years ago. I've always been a pretty healthy person here and there. Here and there. I would go to the gym or I would be on some type of eating plan, but I would waver, right? It was just a habit. It was a cute routine that I implemented in my life. But when something else came up that was seemingly more important, those habits or those commitments were quickly put to the side for me to catch up on my work or do these other things. Or I was simply too busy to make it that day. And so a couple of years ago, as I really recommitted and I knew, like, I'm going to be 40 in a couple of years. I'm really serious about getting to the healthiest place that I've ever been in my life before. I need to really label this in a way that's going to become non-negotiable in my life. And so that's what it became. Me working out 4 to 5 days a week became non-negotiable. It is not something that I waver on. It is something that I've been fully committed to, rain, sunshine, storming, sickness. I mean, almost every single week for the past 2 weeks, I have hit this non-negotiable in my life because I created that belief in my head that it was not something that I could defer on, right? Just like you showing up to work is a non-negotiable, same exact process here when we build this list for you. It's, I do this thing. This is what I do. This is not something that I sometimes do or that I like to do. This is what I do. This is who I am. And that is the importance of making this really concrete label in your life around specific action in how I show up for my health and in how I show up in my life. So what happened is this one non-negotiable became so successful in my life, and I quickly started to see the results of the commitment that having a non-negotiable in the area of my health was creating for me, that I started to create a non-negotiable within each key area of my life, in my health, in my marriage, in my parenting, in my business, within my finances, and even in my faith. And over the last couple of years, what's been cool is it's moved from something that I had to really intentionally make a decision around every single day, but knowing like this is a non-negotiable that I've committed to, it's become second nature, and it's created a shift in who I am as a whole, as a person. So today, I really want to encourage you, if you are liking really my story and my own personal testimony around what these non-negotiables have done for me, is I want you to build a list of your own non-negotiables, and I want you to start today with really intentional, serious action around creating these non-negotiables as part of who you are, as making that decision to act these out every single day without wavering and without any type of excuse. And unless it's an emergency, it is something that you do. So how the heck do you build your own? And I'll go ahead and share mine with you as we go through each category. I want you to get out a big sheet of paper. I have a notebook right here that I am jotting my quick non-negotiables out on. You can do that. You can build a mind map if you'd like, whatever you want to do. You can use a whiteboard, but I want you to actually do this work with me. Now, it's easy to overthink overcommit yourself. And so I don't want you to do that. We're going to pick one non-negotiable in each of these key areas. And then you're only going to start with one of them this week. And each week you're going to add on another non-negotiable. And so that when you're done, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, within our 6 categories in 6 weeks, hopefully you'll be actually implementing all 6 of your non-negotiables. And I think you should ride that for 6 months to 12 months before you would add to it. One of the biggest reasons that we fail on our goals and our dreams is that we overcommit. We have these big zealous goals and we have these big visions for what we want to create, or the weight we want to lose, or the muscle we want to build, or the marriage we want to have. And because we put so much on our plate, our already full plate, the plate that's so overloaded that things are falling off the edges, we fail. And because we fail, we give up. Instead of doing that, let's have one tiny itty bitty non-negotiable that we begin with, and we can definitely squeeze that on the plate. And so that will help us believe in ourselves and start to see the fruits of this commitment and of this action. And then we can add on to that over time. So let's begin in the health bucket. So what I want you to do is on your paper or wherever you're writing, write health. I want you to choose one non-negotiable. Now, some rules for your non-negotiables: they cannot be subjective, they cannot be elusive, and they should not be emotional. So you can't say like, oh, I want to just feel better. That is not a non-negotiable. A negotiable is something like what I wrote down, and what mine is I exercise 5 times a week. For me, that's the number. What is it for you? Is it that you're going to go for a 20-minute walk 3 times a week? Is it that you're going to go to the gym 4 times a week? Is it that you're going to drink X amount of ounces of water per day? It has to be a non-negotiable that you can feel, see, touch, smell, experience, and check it off. Because I'm going to also teach you the importance of tracking this non-negotiable, at least for a while, until it becomes second nature for you. So go ahead and write down. You pause me right here and write down, what is your non-negotiable in the health bucket? Go ahead and do that now. Now, some other ones that I have since added on, because like I said, this can be an evolution. Once you get one non-negotiable really locked in, you can add to it. I also have 130 grams of protein daily and taking my supplements and my vitamins daily. So as you can see, these are all very tactical, and they're not habits, they're non-negotiables. They are things that happen without fail. I want you to just start with one. Okay, the next bucket that we're gonna move to on your paper is marriage. If you are married, if you are not married, you can write relationship at the top. And we're gonna pick one non-negotiable that we want to commit to in this particular area. So for me, this is one date night or focus time with my spouse every single week. Now, notice that this is not elusive or emotional, like listen better. Like that's a great just overall goal, but it is not a non-negotiable because it's not something that you can commit to. It's not something that's going to happen 100% of the time. We are humans. And it's also not something that we can track and say, am I hitting this non-negotiable in my life? So for me, this is simple. Inside, you can use your planner, or I'm going to show you a habit tracker in a moment. It's basically something that you can commit to. So what does this look like for you? Some ideas might be the once a week date night. This might look like showing up to the small group at church, or signing up for the small group at church. Now, I really love if your non-negotiable is something that is an ongoing action versus a one-time action. So if you do have something like sign up for the marriage small group, it would be something like go in person to our marriage small group once per week. See the difference there of how it's a committed, continual action that you are deciding is a non-negotiable in your life. So go ahead and pause me now and write down, what is the marriage or relationship non-negotiable that you're going to commit to? The third area that we want to build is parenting. If you are a parent, if you're not a parent, you can skip this one. Maybe you're a grandparent and you can write down your grandkids as the area here. If you want to choose something else for this bucket, if you are not a parent, that's perfectly fine. So for me, our non-negotiable in the parenting category is that we go to church. We go to church as a family and we do it every single week without fail. It is who we are. It is what we do. It is not, what are we doing on Sunday? I don't really feel like it. I'm tired. That is not happening in our lives. we go to church. So this is my non-negotiable. Pause me and I'm just doing that to give you guys an example. I don't think that your non-negotiables have to be anything like mine. They don't need to be mine. They are your own non-negotiables, but I want to just give you these visuals so you can kind of hear an example of what something that might be really tactical. Okay, the fourth bucket is your business. So what is the one thing, like I am doing this and I'm doing it and I'm doing it and I'm doing it. So for me, it's that I do 3 podcast episodes a week. There is a number to it. It is specific. It is something I commit to, and I have done it without fail for 5 years. We just passed a couple of weeks ago the 5-year anniversary of the show. And in 5 years, I have only missed 1 episode. So that is a non-negotiable for me. Okay, the 5th bucket is your finance bucket. What is your non-negotiable in there? For us, it is that we tithe. And I tithe off of the first fruits, the very top line, 10%, which you have to do whatever feels and is right for you. And of course, biblically look in scripture for truth, because scripture is very clear about tithing. And check that out. Anyways, decide what is your financial non-negotiable. Is it that you're going to use your budget every day or every week or every month? Is it that you're going to tithe every month? Is it that you are going to only spend X amount of money on eating out every week or month? What is that thing that must happen? It's who you are. And last is your faith. And for me, this non-negotiable is that I want some type of special time with God daily. This can be 10 minutes of listening to worship music and worshiping in the kitchen while I cook. This can be a hour in the morning of doing Bible study. It just depends on my week. It depends on my schedule. It depends also on my mood, honestly, but it is something that's going to happen. Maybe it's listening to a faith podcast episode. It's something that's going to help me in my spiritual growth every single day. So these 6 non-negotiables, here's what they're really doing, friend. They are growing you in an intentional way in the most critically important areas of your life every single day and every single decision. Here's what else they're doing. They're teaching you the power of discipline. So as you lock in one of these key non-negotiables, it's going to train your brain to take really intentional, disciplined, committed action. And it's going to help you when you add that second one next week to know how to do this. And it's going to get easier and easier with time for you to really become the best version of yourself, the most Christ-like version of you, because I believe these practices are what cultivate your personal growth, your relational growth, your spiritual growth, your health, and all of the pieces of who God's calling you to really become. So go out there and build your list. So as soon as you're done with this, what do we do now? We're not going to just write it on a sheet of paper and call it done. That's cute. Hopefully I remember. No. We are going to breathe life into these non-negotiables and actually build them into a plan. Because what is it? A dream without a plan is simply a wish, something like that. But that's definitely true. So you're going to take these non-negotiables and you're going to write them out in list format. And then you need some type of tracking. Now, the reason we have to track these for a short period of time is to create the repetitive action in our brain so that it will move from a wish to an action to then a plan to then something that you don't even think about. And it's just ingrained in who you are. But that takes some time. So you can use something like a habit tracker. You can grab one off of Amazon. It's just habit trackers. You can look those up. You can put it in your planner and build out little boxes at the bottom of your planner. Your Horatio planner is the planner that I recommend, Horatio.com. And Steph20 is your code to save 20% off. You can also just do it on a whiteboard with little check marks, but it's something that you're going to track on a daily and weekly basis, at least for 30 days until you find yourself doing it without being prompted. It's like brushing your teeth. When you were little, your parents had to continuously remind you, don't brush your teeth, brush your teeth. Now you brush your teeth on your own. It's who you are, I hope. Praise God. Okay, so you're getting the gist here. So after you have intentionally been tracking this for 30 days or more, if you notice that you're still struggling with committing to this action, then you can let go of that tracking process. So this week, your homework is to pick one of these areas, the area you're most excited about for your non-negotiable, and starting there. Next week, you're going to add on the second category, then the third, then the fourth, then the fifth, and the sixth. And at the end of the 6 weeks, I pray that you have got 6 incredible non-negotiables that are actively happening in your life that you can roll forward for, like I said in the beginning, 6 to 12 months. Sound like a plan? Go get them. I want you to come on over to our Facebook community and share what are your non-negotiables that you committed to. I want to hear from you. I can't wait to find out what those are for you. And I will meet you right back here for another episode of the show in just a couple of days, friend. And again, if you have not yet started a podcast, head to podcastforgrowth.com. Check out my 40-minute workshop on how podcasting works to grow an online business and make money online. Or if you already have a podcast, I want you to come and check out my 6-month mastermind program at stephaniegass.com/podcast to profit so I can help you monetize and make money from your online show. God bless you. I'll see you soon.